Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. In this video we take a look at the Persistent Universe monthly report for November and December as they have combined them into one, seeing what progress CIG has made in all departments. As always, a huge thank you to all my patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. There is a link in the description to my Patreon page if you enjoy my channel and would like to help support me even further. So kicking off with AI ships, they have worked on AI surface flight, ensuring that the AI choose an appropriate path while flying along the planet's surface, so keeping a specified minimal clearance. They also applied similar considerations to in-atmosphere dogfighting, which we saw at the Sitcom demo, where the Avengers of Microtech were attacking the Carrack. A collision avoidance system was also completed, which ensures the AI don't fly into things. Hopefully this will help against the jousting that the AI like to do against us. For social AI, they have made several improvements to path following for AI. Work also continued on the bartender with the first iteration of mixing station tech being added, not only extending the character's ability to pick up and serve items from the fridge, but also prepare new drinks at a mixing station. Now this will apply to the Persistent Universe for when player status comes in and we need to drink. Obviously go into a bar, you'll be able to have a drink, but also when the Starliner eventually makes it in, being able to serve customers and passengers on board your Starliner. So for the AI character combat, focus over the past few months has been on the overall player versus NPC combat experience. This involved implementing new behavior tactics for shotgun wielding NPCs, giving them the tactical choice to get much closer to the target and make proper use of the weapon. They also begun improving vision perception so that designers can more easily adjust the size of vision cones and how fast a target is perceived inside them. They also made improvements to the cover system to enable NPCs to choose to only partially cover themselves, and small optimizations were also made for the AI hearing perception. So some great progress there in AI, especially when it comes to combat. Hopefully this transitions to the PU as soon as possible, whether it's in 3.8 or coming in 3.9, I don't know. But it'll be nice to have them a little more challenging and feel a little bit more realistic. So for the art side of ships, the new Anvil Carrack continues to receive significant focus from the team. The exterior received a detail pass and some slight trimming to the rear to improve visual balance. The interior continues towards final art with several areas not seen at CitizenCon nearing completion. In weapon art, a new prop artist joined and begun creating a new set of Bayring sights, which will be available in the PU soon. I think that's what they do for new employees, is give them something not drastically important as sort of a test bed to get them into the routine of how CIG works, so it should be interesting to see those. Work also kicked off on the Gemini C-54 submachine gun. The first blockout was created in-engine and is currently with the design and animations team. Plus 2 Taveran weapons were taken through the pipeline and will be ready for the release of the Prowler, which we now know is coming in 3.9. Swiftly on to back-end services. They performed a lot of cleanup, which involved tweaking some of the services to reduce memory consumption and address performance and stability issues. Plus testing was done on the long-term persistence initiative for the inventory and ledger. So great work being done there. Hopefully we'll get an idea as to how it's going. So from the design team, which are the people who worked on Tony Zurevek's Quantum, this is the back-end simulation that drives the economy of the game. They've said we've spent time improving and developing our internal tools to better deliver content to you in the future. Now I'm really excited to hear more on this. Hopefully this week we have a Theatres of War Star Citizen Live with Sean Tracy. Hopefully soon Jared is able to get Tony Zurevek on Star Citizen Live and we can hear more about this Quantum. It would be interesting to see when they... I know we can't give us when or dates, but it would be interesting to see how far along they are and how much time they think it would take to get it implemented, because it does kind of change the game quite drastically. The engineering team spent time working on the game physics, specifically soft body. They continued work on the new graphics pipeline and render interface, plus made robust changes for the Vulkan layer and improved the API validation. For planet terrain shadows, they added multi-cascade and blending support to improve detail and range. Regarding fog, they've worked on the volumetric terrain shadow support and came up with a multi-scattered ambient lighting solution that ties into unified ray marching. All of this, when it does eventually come, will just make planets and space look so different. At the moment they are completely black and very barren, a bit bland as well, so when we start getting volumetric fog and clouds and nebulas, it's going to look so cool. They also made lighting consistent so that the planet's atmosphere affects ground fog layers and vice versa. They've experimented with ozone layer support in atmosphere, and work continues on planetary clouds, ocean rendering, frozen oceans, and wind bending for static brushes. That I expect will be trees and other plant life bending in the wind. Now for gameplay features, they have made quality of life improvements such as adjusting the physical forces on spawned cargo boxes to stop them destroying ships, and time was spent concepting and implementing generic rest stop kiosk templates. The vehicle features team improved ping and scanning gameplay, and support was provided for server-side OCS and long-range radar scanning. Now it sounds like the scanning gameplay is getting a bit more improved. The long-range scanning radar is probably used for the Cutlass Red because that has the Nav E7 radar, which is a long-range scanner. Hopefully we'll start getting them physicalized in ships and being able to upgrade and buy new ones and actually seeing the differences between them more. But interesting movements there. They've also finished up with new restricted area systems, which we will see in 3.9, like spline landing guidance. Now, does this mean it'll auto-land you, or will it auto-fly you out of atmosphere? Because currently, although I do much prefer not having the landing area completely surrounded by this weird red mesh, it's kind of irritating how when you try and get into a landing zone, you don't know where you're not able to go, and then you constantly get pushed back up again. So hopefully this will be a lot more intuitive and less punishing, really. The team are also doing some HUD UI updates to come in the future. We know they're working on building blocks, so fingers crossed we get to see some of that soon. So on to level design. They brought the new space station interiors, which they say are the first steps to bringing the interiors in line with the larger exteriors. So there's still more to do, like adding more spaces to make them feel more alive, but it does sound like they're getting even bigger, and I'm so happy that they are matching up the interior and exterior. I cannot wait for that to happen. It might not matter when we are just coming into land for repairs, but once you get derelict space stations, it will make a big difference trying to gain entrance to maybe the engineering section or somewhere where it's more vital than welcoming areas. Anyway, on to props. They have further developed the quantum and jump drives, like what we saw in CitizenCon. They've also worked on other interactable props for the demo, like the access cards, servers and server modules, security gates, tarps and flags, like what we saw in the sitcom demo, being able to pull your tarp off of a vehicle and it naturally reacting, so hopefully we'll get that in game soon. They also supported lockers and crates throughout the demo, which contain different clothing and armor. Now this is something which will be necessary for players when we get the physicalized inventory, so needing to store your armor or equipment in boxes that you can put into your ship, or even in lockers for missions that you have on board your ships. They're currently going through all the ships at the moment actually and adding lockers and equipment lockers to all ships, even single-seater ships where you can jump out and access maybe a little armory on the outside of your ship, like for the Gladius. But being able to put stuff in boxes in your hangar and then load them into your ship will be so vital. Now, work continued on upcoming prisons, focus on interactive props such as the oxygen and equipment dispensers and prisoner status consoles. We heard some leaks recently, which was in my latest leaks video, regards to these status consoles. The next video that will come out on my channel after this one will probably be about prisons and what Luke Presley talked about, so do keep an eye out for that one. But also, artists finished their work on the Carrack. So close. Tech Animation created rigs for more usables like plates, trays, maintenance ladders and ship turrets, plus they continued on the facial rigging pipeline. Now this lengthy initiative, they say, will ultimately yield great things when the team authors their own in-house face rigs compatible with the DNA system. Hopefully it means I'll get my face in. Don't know when that's supposed to be happening. The UI team continued with the building block system with focus on resizable and collapsible menus and the ability to assign different visual styles to one element, as we've seen on the elevator panel, which has different versions for Microtech, the Carrack, the low-tech locations, despite all being the same base canvas. This building block stuff is incredible, and it is going to be a bit of a lifesaver in Star Citizen for the devs, so we're not always waiting for UI to catch up. UI also heavily worked on the actor status display, which shows the player's temperature, external temperature and more. Now this is planned to release soon. It also looks as though it may appear on the HUD when it's being affected and then disappear when it's not being affected, which I do like. It kind of stops the HUD being cluttered with so much UI. Now visual effects team worked on planetary weather like ground storms. They worked on jump gates and tunnel effects, as well as effects for the Argo Mole, the Animus missile launcher, and multi-tool mining beams. An effects pass was done on the Theatres of War map, including the large Terraformer beam. I'm very excited to hear Star Citizen Live and get our hands on Theatres of War. Anyway, that is it for this month's report. Some very interesting features being worked on which will drastically affect the game, like this building blocks. Cannot wait to see that. Also sounds like the Carrack's coming along nicely. There's a lot of little bits of work going on in so many different areas that when we get it all, it'll eventually make a big difference. So hopefully we hear more and we see more in the weekly shows from Star Citizen. Anyway, do let me know what your thoughts are there. What are you excited for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Star Citizen content. Follow me over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers. Come and hang out and chat with us, play the game with us. Big thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you guys for your support. It is much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.